40,000 years ago, humans were not alone. Across the frozen lands of Europe lived another human species. They survived brutal ice ages, hunted giant beasts, mastered fire, and ruled the continent for hundreds of thousands of years. Then, they vanished. Or did they? Nearly 400,000 years ago, a remarkable human species appeared across Europe and Western Asia. They were the Neanderthals. Far from being primitive, they adapted to one of the harshest climates on Earth and built a life that lasted for hundreds of thousands of years. Life during the Ice Age was a constant struggle. Freezing temperatures, fierce predators, and endless winters threatened survival every single day. Yet the Neanderthals adapted so well that they became the true masters of this frozen world. The Neanderthals didn't survive because they were the strongest. They survived because they were intelligent. They planned their hunts, mastered advanced stone tools, cared for injured family members, and passed their knowledge from one generation to the next. For more than 300,000 years, the Neanderthals adapted to every challenge the Ice Age threw at them. They endured shifting climates, survived dangerous predators, and watched generations grow beneath the frozen skies. It seemed their place in Europe would last forever. Then, around 45,000 years ago, everything began to change. From the southeast, another human species slowly entered Europe. They looked similar, but they were not Neanderthals. For the first time in hundreds of thousands of years, the frozen continent was shared by two different kinds of humans. Two human species, one frozen continent. They walked the same valleys, hunted the same animals, and survived the same brutal winters. But when they finally came face to face, did they choose war, peace, or something that would change human history forever? For years, scientists believed only one human species could survive. But recent discoveries reveal a very different story. Neanderthals and Homo sapiens didn't simply replace one another. For thousands of years, they shared the same world. At first, encounters between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens were probably rare. Europe was enormous, filled with glaciers, mountains, dense forests, and frozen rivers. Yet as both species searched for food and shelter, their paths slowly began to cross. Eventually, the distance between them grew smaller. Archaeological discoveries suggest that Neanderthals and Homo sapiens sometimes used the very same caves, perhaps only years apart, or even just days apart. The evidence was silent, but impossible to ignore. The evidence didn't stop there. Modern DNA analysis revealed something astonishing. Neanderthals and Homo sapiens didn't just meet, they had children together. Even today, millions of people still carry a small part of Neanderthal DNA inside their bodies. But if Neanderthals became part of our family tree, why did they disappear? For more than a century, scientists searched for the answer. The truth, however, was far more complicated than anyone expected. Today, most scientists believe there wasn't a single cause behind the Neanderthals' disappearance. Climate change, shrinking populations, competition for resources, disease, and interbreeding with Homo sapiens may all have played a role. In the end, the Neanderthals may not have truly vanished at all. Part of them still lives within us. If Neanderthals didn't simply disappear, then what really happened during their final days? The answer lies in one extraordinary discovery buried beneath the rocks of an ancient cave. Deep inside a cave in northern Spain, archaeologists uncovered a discovery that completely changed how we see the Neanderthals. It wasn't a weapon, it wasn't a skeleton, it was evidence that they cared for one another in ways no one thought possible. One of the most remarkable discoveries was an elderly Neanderthal who had survived for years despite severe injuries. He had lost teeth, suffered broken bones, and could no longer hunt alone. Yet he lived for many years because others cared for him. This discovery shattered one of history's biggest myths. Neanderthals were not heartless cave dwellers. They cared for the sick, protected the elderly, and worked together to ensure that even the weakest members of their community could survive. Neanderthals were also far more intelligent than people once believed. They created sophisticated stone tools, controlled fire, crafted clothing from animal hides, built shelters, and carefully planned dangerous hunts. They weren't primitive survivors. They were skilled innovators. They even buried their dead. Across Europe and the Middle East, archaeologists have discovered Neanderthal graves where bodies were carefully placed in the ground. Some may have been buried with flowers, tools, or treasured possessions, suggesting they understood loss, memory, and perhaps even the idea of an afterlife. The more scientists uncovered, the clearer the picture became. Neanderthals were not a failed version of humans. They were another kind of human, intelligent, adaptable, emotional, and astonishingly resilient. The old stereotype had finally begun to disappear. If Neanderthals were intelligent, compassionate, and adaptable, why did only Homo sapiens survive? The answer wasn't a single battle or one catastrophic event. It was a slow struggle that unfolded over thousands of years. Around 50,000 years ago, Earth's climate became increasingly unpredictable. Temperatures rose and fell repeatedly. Forests replaced open grasslands, glaciers advanced once again, and the giant animals that Neanderthals depended on began changing their migration routes. For Neanderthals, every migration became harder. The herds they relied on traveled farther each year, forcing small families to cross dangerous mountains, frozen rivers, and unfamiliar territories just to find enough food to survive. Food became harder to find. Every successful hunt mattered more than ever. As mammoth herds traveled farther across the changing landscape, each journey demanded greater effort, greater endurance, and greater cooperation from every Neanderthal family. Following the tracks was no longer simple. Fresh snowfall erased valuable clues, forests grew denser, and hunting grounds became unfamiliar. Every decision could determine whether the group found food or returned home empty-handed. Even after days of searching, the mammoths remained just beyond reach. The distance between the hunters and their prey grew wider each season, forcing Neanderthal families to travel farther into harsh and unpredictable environments. Standing high above the frozen world, the hunters realized the landscape itself was changing. The animals they depended on were moving away, and survival would require adapting to a world that no longer looked the same as before. The challenge wasn't only the changing climate. Neanderthal communities were small and scattered across vast regions. With fewer families, every loss became more significant, making it increasingly difficult for their population to recover over time. As Neanderthal groups became smaller, meeting another family became increasingly rare. Fewer connections meant fewer opportunities to exchange knowledge, share resources, and strengthen future generations. Isolation slowly became one of their greatest challenges. The arrival of Homo sapiens added another challenge. Instead of one dramatic confrontation, both human species likely shared the same landscapes for thousands of years, sometimes following the same animals, crossing the same rivers, and searching for the same resources. For decades, many believed that Homo sapiens simply defeated the Neanderthals. But modern evidence suggests a far more complex story. Their lives overlapped for thousands of years, and in some places they may have cooperated, exchanged knowledge, and even formed families together. Instead of disappearing overnight, Neanderthal populations gradually became smaller over thousands of years. Climate change, isolated communities, shifting ecosystems, and competition for resources all combined into a long and complex process that slowly reshaped prehistoric Europe. Then came one of the greatest scientific breakthroughs of the modern era. Ancient DNA recovered from Neanderthal fossils revealed something completely unexpected. They had not truly vanished. A part of them was still alive, within us. Today, scientists know that many people outside Africa still carry a small percentage of Neanderthal DNA. It is a lasting reminder that our ancestors did not simply replace another human species, they also shared a part of their history. The story of the Neanderthals is no longer a story of failure. It is a story of survival, adaptation, compassion, innovation, and a shared human journey that continues to shape our understanding of the past. The Neanderthals disappeared, but they were never truly gone. Their story still lives within our DNA, our history, and the discoveries that continue to reshape everything we thought we knew.